What's up? We got Legends of Tomorrow, Season 3, Episode 8, Crisis on Earth X, Part 4. So this episode picks up where the last episode left off, where the Germans are Earth X villains are attacking, and they shot Martin. So even though Jax tells Martin to stay put, Martin decides to, decides to go over there, and it decides to go over there and open the portal. Meanwhile, Barry and Ray are totally defeating Earth X Red Tornado. Yeah, Earth X Red Tornado is cool. It's better than the one CBS decided to thought they could give us in Squirrel Season 1. Remember that bad looking thing? Yeah. Uh remember CBS thought they could give us a good looking Red Tornado, but they didn't. But at least CW is giving us a good Red Tornado. May not be in the meantime, may not be the Red Tornado that we know, but at least it's a Red Tornado. So they shoot Martin. So back the Germans shoot Martin some more, and they and so they so yeah. So they realize that they can't get him to the way right in his condition, and they're like, and Sarah's like, hey, we could get him if it was Firestorm, so they Firestorm up. So yeah. So we get more cool banter between Leo Snart and Oliver about how Leo Snart's like saying, hey, we still have our villains on your Earth, Ollie, and he's like, don't call me Ollie. And then he's like, I'll get through that crusty exterior. And Sarah's like, no, you won't. I was talking to you, Sarah. I love him. So yeah, I love him. So meanwhile, back on Earth 1, Kara is being dissected by Eobard Thawne, and the whole thing of Eobard Thawne saying he hated it at Star Labs, even though Matt Letcher's version says he misses those days, it's so confusing. So they're about to cut it. He starts the knife to cut open Kara. Dark Arrow's like, hey, get onto it, get on with it. He's like, I'm trying, but Ray's stopping. But then we see Ray is holding the knife, stopping the knife. So Ray goes giant, punches them, and gets Kara out of there. So they're like, Ray, and he's like, why is Felicity gets him up to speed on what's been going on, and yeah, he's like, my hand doesn't always shrink, it biggins. So Kara's like, how do you two know each other? And like, we used to date until she broke up with him randomly to be with Oliver, and then she's like, awkward. Yeah. So meanwhile, we have a talk with our villains, and Eobard Thawne starts going against what Dark Arrow wants, and Overgirl is like, hey, are you questioning him? And he's like, yeah, no. So he finds Kara, and Felicity's like, hey, I'm not giving you Kara. And he's like, her parents didn't survive the Holocaust, so Earth 1 could be ruled by Germans. So yeah, so he's like, as last words go, that were really good. But then Oliver shows up, holding Overgirl, and he's like, hey, let her go, or I'll kill her. And he's lying, and he's like, do it for our lands, kill her. But then Reverse Flash comes in, and Ray has to make a joke about how he said he thought Eobard was already dead. So yeah, random. So meanwhile, back on the Wave Rider, yeah, yeah, Ray, yeah, we all thought Eobardon's gonna die, but he just keeps coming back. So you're not the only one who was shocked by that. So yeah. So anyway, back to what I was saying. They get Martin on the and they realize that Jack may not be. Jack starts bleeding, and Caitlin's like, "Hey, Jax may not be injured, but the only reason Jax is hurting right now is because he's connected to Martin." So he's like, "How do we unconnect them?" And he's like, "We can't without hurting both Jax or Martin." So Martin decides. Anyway, besides that, Martin and Jax have a really good talk. Jax is able to undo their connection, and sadly, Martin dies. I know. I skimmed through the entire scene. I'm just saying, like, it's supposed to be a sad moment, and it is. But the thing is that Martin's, yeah, I think, yeah, the whole thing is, I've read that Victor Garber left they killed off Martin because Victor Garber, the guy who played Martin, didn't like it that he was the lead character of a superhero show. I've heard tons of things about why he left the show. So Sarah's sad, and Martin goes to tell Carissa and Lily, and he does. So meanwhile, everyone's gearing for the battle against the battle against the Earth-Exians. So yeah, so he's like, so yes. So Dark Arrow gives like saying, "Hey, give over, Kara." And he's like, Oliver's like, "Hey, there's one thing difference between you and me, Dark Arrow. I don't give up my friends," and shuts him off. So yeah, so they get ready for a battle. We get a cool shot of everyone with Kara flying in, and Frost and Killer Frost, icing in. It's really cool. That's probably going to be the thumbnail of this video. And that cool shot. So we get a big battle. Meanwhile, Moira Queen decides to make an appearance as the Earth X's Gideon. Yeah. They got Oliver's mom to voice. They got Oliver's mom's actress to voice the evil Gideon of the evil Earth X Gideon. So she's like, hey. So yeah, so she says, "Hey, Overgirl might not have much time." So yeah, So the big battle. Barry and Thawne decide to race it out. Oliver and Dark Arrow decide to arrow it out. And even Supergirl decides to be like, "Hey, Overgirl, want to chat?" And Overgirl's like, "I want to kill you." And they get into a big fight. So yeah, so Barry and Thawne's battle ends with Thawne saying Barry kill him, but he's like, "Ugh, Barry Allen doesn't kill." But I'm just like, are you just overlapping how he killed how he killed Sand Demon and Atom Smasher in season 2? Are we just meant to forget that? Because every time Barry Allen, they always say, "Ooh, Barry Allen doesn't kill." But the thing is, Barry Allen killed 2 people. So yeah, so Barry tells Thawne to get out of there. Thawne tells Thawne to leave. Thawne's like, "Hey, wonder what face will be wearing next time me." Thawne, you'll be wearing the exact same Tom Cavanaugh face because the writers never change her face anymore. So yeah, this whole him saying wonder what face we'll be wearing next time we meet is completely pointless because he never changes his face. So yeah, so he gets out of there. Kara and Overgirl are still having their fight, but Overgirl starts heating up until she's like, hey Kara. He's like, hey Kara, fly up, and away. Harry says that, so Kara does, and Overgirl explodes. Dark Arrow lets his guard down and falls in defeat over the death of his wife. Oliver takes his chance to put an arrow through Dark Arrow, and the day is saved thanks to the day is saved thanks to our heroes. So yeah, so everything's back to normal. We have a funeral for Martin. Caitlin says, hey Martin, say hi to Ronnie for her. And yeah, so everyone gets going. But that was before Oliver says like, hey, how's your wedding gonna go? And she's like, yeah, we're probably just gonna, you know, hang out by ourselves and spend our thing that way. But then Felicity's like, hey, we know a guy. And immediately we see John Diggle. And Barry speeds him out of there. Diggle does this whole vomiting thing, because that immediately became a thing now. So she's like, hey, didn't you ordain your wedding weren't you the ordained minister for Carly and Andy's wedding? And he's like, yeah. He's like, and then Barry's like, hey Diggle, can you marry us? And he's like, it'd be an honor. So yeah, so he's like, do you have any vows? And Barry tells his vows. Iris tells hers. About how Iris' vows are pretty interesting. It's about Iris, when Iris was a kid, or she couldn't do this really good ballet. She couldn't do this really good recital. But then she was frozen, but then Barry came up and did the recital with her, and they killed it. So then he's like, they're about to be married, but then Felicity's like, hey, Barry and Iris, I know this is your wedding, but Diggle, can you marry us too? What? Felicity, you're ruining the moment of Barry and Iris' wedding to say, hey Diggle, can you marry me, Oliver? This is meant to be Barry and Iris' wedding. Why are you ruining it? Anyway, Felicity and Oliver decided to have no vows because they ruined this wedding. And so we have two married couples. So we get Barry and Iris are now married, and Oliver and Felicity are now married. And that's how the crossover ends. For a really good crossover, that was not a really good ending. Like, come on, Felicity. We're having this really good moment, and the whole crossover was supposed to be about Barry and Iris, and then she just comes in and says, hey, out of the blue, this whole thing, I'm guessing this whole thing made her realize that she really did love Oliver and wanted to be with him. Because at the beginning of the crossover, when Oliver asked her to marry him, she was like, we don't need a piece of paper to show that we love each other. But now she's literally saying, yes, Oliver, we do need a piece of paper to show that we love each other. What happened? How did she go from Oliver, I don't want to marry you, to Oliver, I want to marry you? How did that happen? But anyway, that was the crossover. It was a really good crossover. I liked it. But the ending where Felicity just out of the blue asks Oliver to marry her when it's Barry and Iris' wedding kind of ruins it for me. I know, it's meant to be it's funny that Felicity's asking Oliver to marry her in front of when Barry and Iris are about to do it, but it's just like, it just comes out of nowhere. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. So, anyway, but that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time when we start Supergirl, when we review Supergirl Season 3, Episode 9. It's just so weird how she just did that. We did get a cool fight with Talon in this episode, and Diana Drake did make a Tremere reference, which was funny. But that's it for the video. And Red Tornado, the Ray and Captain Cold, actually, the Ray decided to go back to Earth X. Well, we get more of Leo on Legends of Tomorrow. I think, yeah. Leo decides to stick around, and I think he joins the Legends of Tomorrow cast, I think. So we'll get more of him. So anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time for more Arrowverse, because next month will be the 1-year anniversary of when I reviewed the pilot of Arrow. I cannot believe it. Next month will be when I first ever started this series. So, yeah. I can't believe it's been already a year since I started this series. I started in December. And next month is December. So it's already been a year since I started this whole Arrowverse journey. Wow. Can't believe it. But anyway, that's it for this video. And I'll see you next time for more Legends of Tomorrow.